There. That made it a lot better, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome back. You're still watching the Corsair Dream League Season 11.
Holy whoa!
Live from the Monster Energy Studios. And this Stockholm Major is on the way in the group stages. We are here with the second series of Group A, and it's J.Storm versus Team Liquid. One of these teams will be in the upper bracket of their group. One of the teams will be in the lower bracket of their group. And you really do want to be in the upper bracket because lower bracket sends you straight to best of one eliminations. And that is scary. So let's see what these two teams are doing and where are they going to go with this draft. Because we got the bans ready, we got the Elder Titan picked up, even though Elder Titan did get nerfed a little bit in the previous patch, Bulldog.
A little bit.
A lot of bit.
Yeah, but before you start a couple creeps, you come in with 80 damage, you just slam some person in the face, he dies. Now you only get half the damage, from 6 per creep to 3, so it's not as scary anymore. So I'm not sure about this first pick, but I guess it's GH playing it, and he's kind of good with positioning and how he uses spells. So I won't say no to that.
Mm-hmm. It is interesting. I haven't seen an Elder Titan in a while in a pro game, so it should be exciting. Oracle and Ursa. What a terrifying combo, buddy.
What a combo.
Run at you, smash you with the heel, smash you with the claws. Scary stuff.
It is. I'm actually so curious to see how J.Storm is going to play today because we basically haven't seen a whole lot of them because they've played in qualifiers and that's it. So they've mostly played in their region. They haven't gone to a LAN for a little while, so I'm really curious how they're going to do.
Do you expect a lot from them? You think they can beat Liquid?
No.
Oh, we got a hater here. I think they can, but they got Ursa now at least. So the best way to beat Liquid will be just to have some somewhat aggressive lineup, and if you get a decent lead, you can keep killing Roche, and that maybe you can snowball off that. So Ursa, the ultimate Roche killer, maybe you got something going on there. Very smart.
You tend to see Ursa picks later, though, in the draft, when it seems like they don't have a lot of mobility, they don't have a lot of ways away from that Ursa and countering it. I think it's a little scary to pick it up as your second pick. Feels like you can get some ways around it. Troll Warlord, for instance, could be a way around it. Guy's invincible. He can't die, Bulldog.
You can't die. You just hit one button.
You hit one button. Now, do you feel like... I feel like that is in need of having a bigger indicator. When you're playing, do you know when Troll's ult is on?
Not really. I mean, you hear it, but you don't really know how long it lasts.
You don't see it on him. Like, there's no visual effect, right?
Yes.
Other than you see him running at someone and you're thinking, why is he doing that?
Exactly.
Maybe he should be, like, really red or something. Like some new cool animation.
I mean, that's...
Well, that'd be work, so...
That would be a little bit work.
Unless we could get the workshop artist to do that for free. I don't think we'll be implementing that in the game.
Question. Is Oracle not considered a counter to Troll? Because you can disarm him. Okay, you only disarm your teammates. You can disarm him too, right?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, so it's like, he's like countered. All right, next.
Yeah, Shiva got it. He's disarmed. He can't attack. The game's over. But they're probably going to pick more heroes that also will attack, so you can't really deal with that. And I mean, Mind Control will pick something that jumps in and just deals with the Oracle maybe or something like that. It should be fine.
Yeah.
And when that BKB does eventually come out, then he will be a terror. But I think you make a really good point. Troll, of course, loses his control when he does his ultimate.
How long have you been waiting to use that one?
Never, actually. Yeah, he's not able to control himself. Oracle can put on that anti-hit little thing there, and then what does he do there? So, could work. Does that interaction work? I don't actually know. Probably.
We're going to find out.
Hopefully.
It's pretty rare that they would pick Miracle's hero first 2, which means that should be Matuma Troll, but that doesn't make a lot of sense. So maybe it is Miracle first 2 hero. Usually they use that as a last pick.
Well,
Team Secret and Navi playing it?
J.Storm has definitely done their homework.
Production?
They're just banning out all the green heroes.
Don't worry about it. We'll get that fixed up. Leshrac! We're seeing this again. I mean, Leshrac has always been in Dota 2 Pro games, right? He falls out a little bit, but I mean, it's just pushing power. Pushing, burst damage, picking off a person, never gets old, never gets bad. So, not surprised to see him picked up here again today.
He just gets a few good engagement, get a few items, he becomes like a super powerful core even, and he just runs in, kills everyone. You get eventually maybe a BKB, you win the game.
That's right. That's all it takes is one BKB.
Yeah.
It's over.
Pretty scary. I mean, you compare him to in a team fight like a Chen. It's like, I heal a little bit. This guy just runs in, melts them.
Wow, that is scary. Jeez. Out of the top 10 ways to die, melting is probably up there.
Yeah.
Is it possible to melt?
Yes.
For humans?
Anything can melt. You put it next to the sun, it's going to melt, Sheaves.
I guess that's...
Gonna probably
yeah.
die pretty quickly though.
That's grim though. But
What's
yeah,
the difference between a melt and a fire?
yeah.
Well, you're on your fire, melting, technically.
I
This
think
is
so too. I
interesting.
think a burn is basically you being
This is
having melt
disgusting.
damage.
Hey, look,
We need to
speaking of
test it.
nightmares, it's Bane coming out here.
Nice transition.
Hey, very
sir.
nice. Bane, we're not seeing too much of anymore. Am I right on that, or is he still picked up?
I see him a little bit.
Picked up more now. And one thing we must not forget, that Enfeeble has been picked to be super disgusting because it's basically you're gonna be, well, for example, if it's together with the Shadow Shaman, you're gonna be shackled for years because that just status resistant reduction or
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Keep going, Shiver. What is it again?
Resistance
Amplification.
reduction is very good in combination with heroes that can definitely abuse it. You could be slept forever from the Elder Titan.
It's true. And not to toot my own horn here, but as I was saying before, it's a little risky to pick that Ursa pick because you can pick up something like a Bane. Now they have a lot of ways to control that Ursa. They can enfeeble them, they can nightmare them, they can sleep them, and they're getting ways to, kite that out a little bit.
Yep.
So starting to get concerning here for J.Storm.
And his laning, I'm not sure. Doesn't look that good either. Troll, Bane, it's pretty scary. It's still unclear who's playing this Troll. Like, you'd think it would be a Miracle, but again, I don't know if you want to pick his hero first too. So it could still be mid. We see this hero mid a lot as well. So, but Bane, just a super strong laner still. One of the strongest. And since they buffed his ultimate from 5 to 6 seconds with the state of resistance, you just grab someone for 9 seconds. It's not very fun. It's pretty silly.
Razor. I got a difficult relationship with this hero. I don't particularly like it too much.
Okay.
You hate it.
No, that's a strong
hate
word. I don't particularly like it too much.
Why?
Hate it. I don't know. Razor is just kind of like this all-around hero that pro teams like picking as like the general carry, but he doesn't seem to really have too much big strengths. I never hear anyone say, Razor, the perfect pick in this game.
His strength is that he's very difficult to kill. He can't die.
Great.
Yeah.
So
So basically, his job is to stay alive because he's tough to kill.
yeah,
His job in fights is just be.
he just bees. Well, that sounds lame as hell. I mean,
He's not the most exciting hero to watch for sure.
I don't know. It always seems to me like they're saying, "Oh, we need a carry. Pick a Razor." And then what does he do in these games? I'm not quite sure. But
It's super annoying hero, right? You mentioned about Ursa, like they can control and whatnot, but you look at his lane now as well. Like, where do you lane? Troll should be really good against Ursa. Razor will destroy that lane, and what's that hero? CK?
CK.
Should also do fine against Ursa. So whatever lane Ursa goes on, it's gonna have a rough time. And also Ursa, you want to blink in, burst someone, but Bane will save him wherever he goes on. Then you suck him the damage, and then you win.
And
You can't kill anyone.
I know you thought a 4-second stun was bad. See that go to 6.
no.
Can it go to 6 with that
And even
feeble
go
max?
higher, isn't it? Isn't it
No.
like 70 or 80% increase?
Yeah, I think so.
It's like 7 seconds stun.
No.
Ooh, all right. Jake,
Yeah.
that convincing you to go for Liquid, or who is your favorite team in this specific game 1 of the series?
Yeah, I'd like to surprise the chat and everything, but despite the Razor, I feel like I have to go with Liquid.
No, you said you hated Racer.
I said I
said
didn't
you
say I
hated him.
hated it, but I will say I feel like they picked out Ursa too early. They got like 5 different ways to sap his damage.
Henrik?
I think Ursa will just have too hard of a game. Again, I sad to agree with this guy here.
I think we're going for all 3 for Liquid then.
You're just copying, Shiver.
I'm just copying. That's me. That's what I do.
Oh, jeez. That sounds like a
Let's
fight
find
with
out
my
what's going to
wife.
happen in that first game of the series with Moxie and Lizard.
All right, well, thank you so much, Shiver. It seems like everybody's favoring Liquid right now. Lizard, are you going to join that hype train?
I wonder why. Is it because of Liquid or because they have a superior draft as well?
I don't know. There's a couple of things that tick off those boxes for wanting to go
Just
for
a couple of. I
Sure.
think being Liquid is the main one. It's easy to hate on some team and their draft when they're actually playing versus Liquid. It doesn't matter what their draft. Liquid is they're
Oh
still
yeah,
the
I'd say they're
favorites, yeah.
they're one in like the top 3, I would say, for this particular tournament. But we're gonna find out. Can J.Storm, are they gonna be able to be very patient? They're gonna find that opening, maybe snowball with that Ursa, or is he just gonna get run over?
It is possible. You do have Ursa, like you can go take a couple of rushes. If that first rush fight goes well for them, you get that Aegis on the Ursa. It can go their way, definitely. It's gonna be hard though. It's gonna be so hard. Even this Forev last pick Timber, if Matu is planted against him, even if you put the Troll against him, I think it's not the easiest lane for him. So it's gonna be, well, interesting.
It's gonna be an uphill battle for J.Storm, right? For sure. But you never know what's going to happen. That's what's the great thing about Dota 2. Sometimes you have some interesting upsets occur. I know that people were pretty excited about, what was it, the Forward VP game? Forward took a game off of them earlier.
That's insane. What happened in the end? Like
I actually
we don't
have
know
not been
because-
updated because we were watching this other game.
we
So
have no spoilers.
no spoilers here, folks. Not until you go back and Shiva gives you that warning, that 2-second warning of what's about to happen. But do see that invasion coming out here from J.Storm.
Yeah, there's
Trying to
4
get
of
some
them here.
information, trying to maybe get a good lineup or matchup rather.
30 seconds
Yeah, you wanna
to battle.
like if you are J.Storm and if you do not position your lanes properly, it's gonna be so difficult for you to scale well into the late game. So they literally have to get this Forev on the lane, and you can see that he's running top now. Like they're basically just focusing on giving this Timber the best laning stage. You have to, honestly. If he has a bad laning stage like that guy's gonna be completely irrelevant. So it's good what they're doing.
Well, like we said, it's going to be an uphill battle here for J.Storm because the draft just is very, very good against this Ursa. So you need to have at least one lane, right? At the very minimum, one lane that's going to do well, because if you lose any more than that, it is impossible to come back, especially with this current meta. So
Yeah. They have played a lot of Lash, and Lash is pretty legit right now in the meta, and Braille plays it really well. I've seen some combinations with Lash Tusk, Lash Baraturn from them. Like they like to combo Lash with a hero that can dive under the tower with that Diabolic Edict. Like it's pretty good. So they do have a very comfortable draft for them. Are they gonna be able to execute it the way they have done versus some NA teams such as Flying Penguins and stuff? I'm not certain, but it's definitely a draft in their comfort zone, even though we don't like it so much on the panel and the two of us as well.
well, it'll be very interesting, right? Because after doing qualifiers and also being able to cast some of the other NA events, right, into the region, you saw that J.Storm, they're very, very disciplined. So it'll be a real testament now to see how disciplined they can be. Can they wait until they get the upper hand, or is this just gonna all slide out of their hands?
Yeah, I can see this being a problem already. You're positioning your Timber versus Bane and CK. And Bane and CK are gonna have a blast on this lane. It's not gonna be very difficult for them whatsoever. Forev so far has done very well when it comes to the equilibrium of the lane, right? And this tri-lane, you're basically playing the tri-lane into an Elder Titan.
He loves tri-lane.
He's gonna hurt. You cannot dispel his Astral Spirit damage, so he's just gonna run you down.
And top lane looks like Fred might be in for a little bit of
Might
trouble.
be
Again,
so.
he is a Timber Saw here, so
And really nice juke there.
just
Yes.
run into Kuroki eventually. Oh, there's gonna be the bolt coming out though.
2
A
seconds.
couple more damage. He needs to get out of there. Is it gonna be enough? Oh, he's actually just gonna get taken down by Kuroki.
That was so close. Actually,
I felt like Kuroki had a moment of just like, oh no, that's fine. He's already dead. Oh no, wait. And then that was the last one.
I like how Mind Control didn't really go for that kill. He didn't die because he already had 1 chakram on him. So if he got hit by Verling one more time next to the trees, like he would lose a lot of damage, maybe even risk dying there. So very disciplined.
It looks like, Miracle not having the best time right down here, but doesn't seem to be too bothered about it at this time.
Just 6 CS on him right now, but at the same time, Ursa has 6 CS. Okay, now he's getting a bit more, but they're pushing in, so he's gonna get farm anyway.
Right.
Troll is gonna get farm, and you have to also remember that this is a tri-lane versus a Troll, so he's been doing fairly well so far.
Miz thinking about going for a little bit of a dive here though. They'll throw out the Spirit. He's gonna go chasing after GH. Throw out the shards. We'll connect. Let's try to put a little bit of damage here. There's going to be the stomp. We'll throw two of these heroes asleep. March just plinking away over here on the corner, but they'll turn their attention now over onto Fear. And it looks like Miracle now. He's also going to get stuck up. Is he going to be able to just get taken down? And it looks like they're going to lose here as well. GH needs to be careful. He's trying to get himself into the trees. The root's going to come out. It doesn't feel like they want to go for that dive because the TP is coming out here from Kuroki, and he's got his eyes on March.
All right, so Kuroki does port here, and he does get that kill on March. But, let's
Ooh, middle
this.
lane though. Tumbaman, let's be a little bit careful here against Braille.
What that did, though, however, is it allowed Timber to get some farm and some space on that top lane, because that aggression was definitely necessary from J.Storm. They forced the Bane down. Instantly, the Timber has a little bit fear of a lane on this top lane. What I actually expected Liquid to do is to... it's hard to put anyone else versus this Timber now, though. And CK alone, he isn't gonna have a lot of fun, but he was given that extra advantage on the start of the games.
Right.
Should be fine. J.Storm, however, they're doing fairly well on these lanes, honestly. Not too shabby. Like, the panel expected them to be crushed a bit, right? But
Yeah. I mean, the aggression coming out here, like you said, that's something that J.Storm likes to do, especially, you've got a hero like Ursa. And we actually have, tri-lane versus tri-lane now, so it's going to allow Timber just a little bit more breathing room on top. He's not going to have to be quite as afraid. And I think if you're J.Storm, you're kind of okay with that, right?
You're super fine with that, because if you notice, what CK is forced to do is creep skip. So Timber is having a complete free lane on top lane now. And you need that, Timber. Honestly, you need him so much. He works so well versus most of these Liquid heroes that you need him to get a good time, to have a good time on that top lane.
Yeah, and Timber's one of those heroes, too, that's very much like, as much as he's a space creator, he also eats up a lot of space, too. So if he's allowed to get that wiggle room, it's really going to pay off in the long run here.
Yeah, he's going to wiggle across the map and get some kills on these trend heroes. It's pretty good. Versus GH, versus CK, he can be very strong.
Comes the runes. That's a pretty big time to get those rotations. Slow's going to get thrown out, though, over onto Mu. Looks like Bane's going to be perfectly fine here.
They're just protecting Miracle for now. These aggressive movements, you can see how Mu is positioning himself. He definitely isn't only trying to block them from pulling, he's waiting any second just to pounce, just to go under the tower.
Feels like the mid lane's been awfully quiet. Haven't seen too much going on there, because all the action, right? We've got our eyes focused on Mu, on this very aggressive bear. And of course,
This is where the fun is, right?
Right.
It's a try-on-try action. It's not really something that we see very often. It is becoming a little bit more popular in the current meta, but we haven't seen tri-lanes on tri-lanes in a really long time, so...
Now, how concerned are we, though, in the top lane with Mind Control, right? Because, we're talking about how Timber's having a great lane, but Mind Control's also getting, plenty of CS, plenty of farm, and that's one of those heroes too that if you shut him down early, it's a bit difficult for CK to come back online because he doesn't have a flash farming mechanic.
They're very similar in that aspect, like right, the Timber and the CK. So they're kind of trading that.
Man's gonna get rooted up. Snowball's gonna go right through. They should be able to find this kill, and they'll be able to go and take that Purifying Flames. PH is gonna get taken down too.
Bonus kill.
Trying to come and save him, but unfortunately not going to be the case.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's very hard for him to save him there in that situation. He ports in, just feeds an extra kill. If you're J.Storm, you're super happy about that. And honestly, this is where they shine the most. These aggressive movements, either it be the Tusk or the Spirit Breaker or something tanky like that, just to dive under the tower, to give that Lash the opportunity to die with, right? And it's a well-rehearsed move from J.Storm. Night comes, they bounce.
Yeah, for sure. The rotations are definitely a big part of the game right now, too, especially when you've got people that are a little bit more static, right? Because the Razor kind of wants to just hang out in the mid lane. Looks like Kuroki's in for some trouble. Snowball's going to connect. They try to go for that splitter. Not going to be able to quiet land it. Kuroki, though, just burning down, though, to this Disco Pony. And he will be a light snack for Bryle there.
It's interesting, though. Lash, usually, when you see him on mid or even on the side lanes, if he's not a support, even with the Edict buffs, he's not skilling Edict. But J.Storm, they definitely do, because they know that they're going to be diving all the time on mid, so Bryle goes for a few levels into that Edict, and you can see why.
Oh, Shark's just not quite there. Tumbaman going to be able to steal quite a bit of damage here, and they'll be able to get the sleep off. Looks like Bryle's just a little too far past that tower, and he's going to get taken out.
Yeah, that pony just disappears. Kuro, however, I don't think... Can he catch him here?
I don't
Nah, there's
think
no,
so, no.
It's very unlikely. Fear should all...
They're trying to see if they can get,
got
No,
him.
there's a nightmare.
He can maybe shard himself up.
I don't know, I think they've got too much CC. Yeah. See you later.
It just dies instantly.
And bottom lane, though, they've got their eyes here over onto Miracle. We'll be able to net up Moo.
Yeah, so far Miracle is doing quite fine here. You can't really... Ursa is a kind of a hero that can't really pressure the troll too much right now, as you just use whirling axes and he misses every single hit, so...
Doesn't he have like a really high pick rate right now too, the troll? Just because he does so much, right? During the laning phase, he's pretty hard to kill. He's, fights early.
For a few months now, it's one of the top picks, honestly. First he became top pick because of the changed ulti, right? And then he was comboed with Magnus, but now people are just picking him any time. He was really good versus Terrorblade before the changes. Now isn't really the top pick versus him, but still, it doesn't matter. The hero is great. So.
More movement over here. GH might be in for some trouble. Snowball connects. They're looking for Split Earth. There's going to be just this whirling yo-yo of death flying in from Forev as he takes him out with some help from Fear. A little bit more chase here. Matumba Man, he's popped the ultimate. He's going to have to just back off, though. There's 3 heroes. I don't think he really wants to engage on this at this time.
These movements are very aggressive from J.Storm, though. And even though they look good on paper and to us because they take down an objective, is the transitioning from that objective that really matters. As you can see, that Mind Control is farming top, Miracle is farming bottom, and you committed 4 heroes into taking down mid, and multiple times you've tried it. It's not the first attempt, right? So they are wasting a lot of their time doing that, but can they actually transition into other objectives now? That's the question.
Well, that's kind of the risk about this draft, too. When you look at what Liquid's got going on, they scale quite well into this late game, whereas the side of J.Storm, they're very much like a mid-game kind of threat. And they're really reliant, too, on, using Leshrac to take down some of these towers. You've got, the Ursa as well, but he's kind of want to be just, running his face forward most of the time, too.
Yeah. Let's see the runes. In a 10 runes.
That's not runes, that's tower. That's Miracle farming up there. But we do see, again, the pressure coming out onto towers. Miracle taking, top, bottom's gonna go fall.
We didn't see the runes.
We didn't see the runes, yeah. Who do we gotta, is this Weapons or Scriff? Which one of these guys do we gotta?
Shame on you, sir, whoever it is. Alright, so 2 runes each.
Alright, thank you.
Not a whole lot.
Maybe you're not fired. Snowball going right to the face, but I think Fear wants to change his mind because he gets pulled right back in there with the rally. They take the stomp off over onto the Timber as well, and that's going to be a lot of damage going over here to the Razor. We've got about 50, 60. Keeps on going up. They pop the Shrine. Forev just wants to disengage. We'll be able to go land that Purge of the Root over onto Matumba Man. And it looks like they're going to back off from this engagement.
Yeah, it looks like Liquid are the ones that are on the aggressive moves, right? Like this CK, once he pops that ulti, you just run away from him at this point. Timber hasn't really hit that critical mass in which he feels invincible. In this game, do they actually have... Well, you have the grip, I suppose. So you do have control for the Timber. It's not too easy because there's Oracle versus you, obviously. But they do have ways of dealing with him. So it's not a disaster if you let that Timber have some space.
Who's the #1 target, though, if you're going to use your ultimate as Vayne, right? Because we were talking about this earlier, how you can only use the Oracle ulti as the hard dispel, right, to take off the Vayne's grip.
I think you still use the Fiend's Grip on the Timber, though.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. You just delete him and ignore him from the fight, and then you come back to him later. You do have Elder Titan versus him. There's bonus damage obviously involved.
Right.
You have some stuns, plus Enfeeble. I think you just use Enfeeble, stun him for how many? 950 seconds, right?
Yeah.
And then you clean up his team, and then you come back to him later. And just keep him controlled for as much as possible.
Haven't seen much movement out of Brian. We saw the 1 rotation down to the bottom lane to take the tower, but he's having a pretty good time here in the mid lane. But, I mean, you look at the 3 cores on the side of Liquid, right? And they're just
behind him.
Yeah, they're steadily closing that gap. I think you'd be a little bit nervous right now if you're J.Storm.
Yeah, we have the double Bracer build on Chaos Knight plus Power Treads. Usually it would make him invincible. He is playing versus Timber, so he's not as strong of a build, but yeah, still good. The Ursa going for that Midas, however, which is a normal build right now. Ursas, they love going for their Midases, even after the nerf, because it lets the hero scale so well.
Right.
Not that one-shot Pawnee that's basically only about the snowball. So you can actually go into the late game with the Midas, but it's not...
But against the lineup that Liquid has, is that necessarily the best choice? Is my question.
they do have AoE from the Timber and the Lash to deal with CK illusions, to perhaps control the troll. So if Lash is gonna be the one that makes plays in the mid game together with his Timber, then the Ursa can be given enough space to justify that Midas, right? To go with Midas and buy some items for the late game. Because if he doesn't scale well, they're gonna be in a lot of problems later on. So I think this Midas is a necessity for them, even with the nerfs.
I'm like a little bit nervous too, though, because I know that Bryle plays a bit greedier as a mid player, and especially with the Leshrac. Although he is putting pressure down here in the bottom.
Exactly. Like what I really liked in my old teams, even if I have a player that's really greedy, but I need him to not be greedy, I give him a hero that's objective based, like a hero that goes one objective after another, like a DK or a Lash or a Death Prophet, and then they're like, I want to be greedy, but I have this spell, it's itchy, I want to use it.
I feel like that's like some reverse psychology sort of thing, or like something that you do with like a kid, like they want something and you.
But they're all kids. You have to.
That's true. That is very true. Try to trick them into eating their vegetables, so to speak, right? Do something good for yourself. That's still.
Dire's middle tower.
Guess.
You bait them onto the bounty rune and then like, let's go to this tier 1.
Yeah.
It's so close. Come on, man.
Like, we're gonna go get ice cream, but first we're taking to the doctor first. These guys gotta get used up in the top lane. Matumba Man just wailing away on this poor old bear. Silly old bear. You're out of here.
He doesn't care. He has Midas. He's gonna farm it back up. It's probably on cooldown anyway, so.
It better be. There's nothing worse than a passive Midas.
There you go. 60 seconds still. He's
value.
fine.
He's fine.
All right, so Lash did go for that Yules. We see different builds coming from Leshracs. Lately it's Yules, it's Atos, it's even Greaves. He does have those arcanes, so he might even go for Greaves. So
it's possible. Take him up just a little bit too to deal with some of the other loveliness. Okay, they use the Phantasm down here. They try to grab and pile, and immediately there's going to be the Yules coming through, still dishing out a decent amount of damage. Cast Rift getting thrown, followed up with the Stomp. They need to be careful. Those illusions just do so much damage on Kuroki. Going to be able to come and get that kill. They drop the Earth Splitter over here on the corner. Kuroki trying to navigate his way through all of these illusions. Forever going to have to just walk himself out there with a little help from March. We'll be able to just Timber Chain away.
Yeah, I'm surprised March wasn't there a bit sooner, so he can save his Lash, right? Because with that ultimate of his, False Promise, they definitely saved the Lash. And they prolonged the fight, perhaps even killed the CK, but like the way they played it, it was only Timber and Lash there, so. I don't know what Oracle was doing at that moment. Maybe warding or something. Just casual position 5, yeah.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Positioning is all that matters for an Oracle player, honestly.
Oh yeah. You gotta watch it. Oh, look at all the damage coming out over here on Bryle. Oof, that's scary.
One of the reasons why Lash players like that Atos is because you don't get blown up like this.
Right.
You have 2 crowns. You get a lot of utility from those. So.
Well, they haven't really grouped up too much with the Timber Saw too often, right? Like, you saw it briefly in the bottom lane. Kuroki might be in for a little bit of trouble to go. Land the Rift onto the Ursa Bear. Here's going to turn back around. Matumba Man is just so quick, though. They've got that snowball. We'll be able to connect. He won't be able to charge them. And all of a sudden, Forever's just separated from the rest of his team. Needs to be careful.
What happened with those shards?
I don't know. I feel like maybe it was a misclick. Yeah. Like, they traveled hardly any distance from that Tusk. It must have been just some sort of a misclick that goes on.
Yeah, most likely something happened there. Old man shards.
Matumba Man is going to root him into place, followed with the Chakram. Here's the Split Earth coming through, Bryle coming through, and again, we have those shards finally connecting, and they just need to burn him down. They will finally catch him.
Yeah, this time around, he was on point with them. Later on, just a snowball to control him a bit more, and that's an easy kill. Matumba Man probably expected they were going to go back after failing to kill him the first time.
Oh, the old fake back.
Yeah,
classic.
Just fake back, went in. However, he doesn't really care because, as you can see, Miracle, he's going for that Battle Fury. He went for that Battle Fury, so his farm is going to skyrocket. You can see that he's on top of the net worth.
They're mowing down these towers, though. I mean, again, they're making a lot of space for Miracle, but they are losing real estate. And if J.Storm continues with the amount of pressure that they're putting down...
Well, Timber is going for Greaves, actually, so it's not going to be the Lash. Okay. He has the mech already, so there's too much utility on the side of J.Storm for Liquid to fight them. With this mech, with the Oracle, it's very difficult. Even with the Midas and Ursa, they don't truly care. Especially when CK's ult is used. You don't you honestly have no way of fighting J.Storm.
Well, I wanted to ask about that actually because, you know, with the Phantasm down, that opens a pretty big window for the side of J.Storm because they've got a little bit more of a skirmishy lineup, right?
Yep.
So they can re-engage. They don't have to worry so much. You have to be careful around the Rose Pit, though, of course, when you've got an Elder Titan. That is one great hero to have for contesting.
This hero makes the game so much easier for Liquid because they can check Rush time after time with the Spirit. I think that's very important for Liquid. As that Ursa can't just sneak in at any given point and take it.
They need to get a pick off, most likely, on the Titan.
Yeah. Also, you said that that hero is so strong around the pit. One of the best heroes around the pit, honestly. Like, those choke points work so well in his favor. Hit me, little wolf. Give me that armor. Attack me, little wolf. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, come, doggy. Come here.
And then just immediately get obliterated.
Poor little dog.
Wolf. Poor puppers.
Yeah.
Alright, so what have we got on? We've got the Battle Fury now up and running over on Troll. It's got the Yasha.
Has that 10 Agi, but most importantly is getting closer to level 15 and his talents. That's gonna hit quite hard.
Rev, getting a little cheeky here. Throw off that bolt. He's just getting burned down so quickly now, and they'll use the Oracle to keep him alive, and that's going to be the Fiend's Grip down. One less way to hold on to the side of J.Storm, although March needs to be careful. The Yule's coming out from Bryle. He's in for some trouble. They'll pull him back in. They'll just burst him down.
And
he's out of here, and they're going to be able to find themselves. March, he's not marching out of anywhere right now.
That's so horrible for J.Storm, and Liquid really realized what they had to do there. As if you do force that false promise, when Timber is out of position, it basically means that you can dive them afterwards as they don't have that save. You want to be using, if you're an Oracle, you basically want to use that false promise in the middle of a team fight in which your whole team has already engaged. But if Timber is so far behind the tier 1, you can't really be around him, you can't help him, you can't fight with him. And that ulti is just wasted then, you know, you do save him, but it's a waste.
Hey, Moo coming in here, showing off that he's got that blink dagger. They're going to go right after Kuro, but it's not going to be able to get it. They get the stop off in the middle of everyone. Moo trying to run himself away here. Fear chasing after Kuro, and they're both trying to run themselves out. They will lose Fear, and Perev doesn't look like he's very long for this world either. He'll get taken down by Mind Control. Moo trying to run himself out. He's just getting kited so hard, and they'll find a kill on him and get a tower too.
I mean, this whole lineup of J.Storm depends on that ulti of Oracle. If he does not have it, they can't even approach Liquid at this point because they've just outfarmed them. They just have way too much.
That window, I feel like, is closing so fast now for J.Storm, especially, you know, they've taken 2 fights that were... I'd say that some of the trouble started in that top lane, right? When the Timber kind of went in for that dive as soon as...
That dive definitely did not help them.
Yeah.
That ulti of Oracle isn't really considered the biggest one. It's not your chrono or something, but it just makes some drafts stick, right? And this one in particular, you can't have that Ursa diving in, you can't have the Lash. Most importantly, that Lashrak. Like, he needs to be the one that this ulti is used on, I think. And overall, that stomp from Liquid was just from GH, I mean. To be expected, I guess. Not even surprised any longer. Like,
it is GH.
Just a casual GH stomp.
Yeah, no big deal. You have a 10k lead though going over to the side of Liquid right now, so it's feeling a little scary right now for J.Storm. I mean, it's been feeling a little spooky for a while, but there's a jump forward. They're going to be able to maybe find a no, but the Timer's going to be able to keep them alive just a little bit longer because it gets the off and they'll be able to throw up the Yules. Walrus Punch going on in the background. They want to see if they can get Kuroki, but they go and they get the disarm off over here onto the Troll. Turn around, we'll be able to pop that Aegis, and there's going to be False Promise. They're actually getting used over here onto Fear, trying to keep them alive, but that's going to be down now, and they might just re-engage. And in fact, that's what's looking like it's going to be the case, although Forev going after Matumba Man will be able to go land that Tin to turn back around. Ursa getting that rage off. It's looking to go back, and maybe the snowball coming through. They've got the rest of Matumba. We'll be able to root them up, and then they turn around. They get the kill on Matumba Man, and in the back lines, they find a kill over onto Forev. Bryle now trying to disco his way out of a potentially bad situation, but Miracle says, come right back here. They'll take down Fear as well. Oh my goodness, and they're not even done. March, can you make it home in time?
He's fine.
He's gonna be alive. He's a survivor, but...
I mean, even when J.Storm plays the fight so well, honestly, in my opinion, they still lose it. It's just the power of Liquid. They're in a good position, but at the same time, they just play so well. Though that team fight over there, like J.Storm, the way they controlled Miracle with the Yules, with the Fate's Edict, with everything they've got, they stopped him. His ulti was completely whiffed, didn't do anything, but they wasted way too many spells on him.
Oh, the TP cancel coming out from Kuro. Moo? He's pretty mad about that, but they lose March over on the high ground. Now Curl's gonna have to go pop that fountain. Is he gonna be able to make it out alive? Just bring around the Rosie, and in comes Matumba. He's gonna go right in there, finds a kill on Moo. Curl gonna walk out with his life. Snowball's gonna get used though over here onto Miracle Ghost. Uses the ultimate. Fear's gonna run himself back. They need to try to get themselves away fast enough. Chaos Ball coming out though over here onto Brile. They're gonna lose Fear. And now the nice stomp coming out will hold the Disco Pony in place. Mind Control's just trying to get himself out now, thinking that he doesn't really want to have to deal with this Timber Saw or Brile, but he turns around and he says, okay, you know, if you really insist, I'll go back in on you, Brile. Will actually get taken down, though. And the force stab coming out. Tumba Man finds himself a kill. They'll get a kill on Forev, and only March is up and alive and kicking right now.
Well, there's 10 seconds for Ursa, but there's...
I don't know, the control coming out from Liquid, it's just...
It's very hard for them to
How do they
defend
get in
the top
there?
lane. Yeah. How do you defend top even with the Ursa? It's only the
You
three of
don't.
them. You don't.
You don't. You watch it. You say, you know, you take a picture of your tower and racks and say, goodbye, it was nice knowing you. This is not looking good for J.Storm here. Total inactivity for 197. Boy. Woo.
Ursa running down mid when they're taking his top racks.
Classic NA Dota.
I wasn't gonna go there being
I
a
went
EU
there.
player,
It's
but
fine.
you're allowed, I guess.
My
But
favorite.
NA Dota, lol.
My favorite is when I'm like with a bunch of Europeans and they just refer to like Jenkins and I as the Americans.
All right, so how does J.Storm come back? Tell me, Mox, because I'm clueless.
With a hope and a
As an
prayer
analyst,
and, you know, a 3-2-2 and, you know,
the 3-2-2.
maybe not a 3-2-2.
All right.
They need to throw pretty hard, though, for J.Storm, I think, to come back in. Maybe they get lucky. Maybe they get a couple, like, really good pickoffs, but I don't think... Liquid's too disciplined for that.
Yeah, these BKBs that they're buying, I don't feel like they're gonna save them. You know, like it's a step in the right direction, but it's a step they needed to make like
It's too little,
7
too late.
minutes ago.
Too
Yeah,
little, too late. Yeah.
it's a bit too late.
I mean, we need to rewind to the draft. That Ursa pickup that early, unfortunately, I think.
They value the pick. Some teams value the hero so much because you can put him on offlane, you can put him on safe lane, even mid. So this move
is...
right here.
All right, they're going to wind up. They're going to go find two heroes right off the bat here, but there's the BKBs coming out. They get the sleep off. Look at it. It's beautiful in the middle of everything. They'll turn back around, and the Kuro going to have to buy himself back immediately, but they're going to lose mid. They're going to lose Fear, too, and it looks like they're going to lose Forever March. The GG gets called.
You just call it there.
It was, you know, it was their hope and their prayer.
You
Smoke,
just
right?
call it there. Yeah, definitely. That's a smoke of desperation, basically. You don't want to be contained to your base when situation is such as this one, right? Like it is a hard position to be in as a team, but smoking out and doing that is a brave thing, but also the right thing. You get some map control. Sadly for them, they were a bit too far behind. They couldn't really accomplish anything with it.
No, you know, A for effort, for sure. You know, they tried their best. They saw that the lanes went a little bit better than we had actually anticipated, especially, you know, the panel had mentioned that too. But at the end of the day, you know, Liquid, they had a really strong draft. They were very disciplined. They made the space that they needed. And we'll take game number 1. So we're going to take a short break, guys, and we'll be back with more Dota. Stick around.